Oh my God, there are a lot of questions, but I just want to learn from you. I'm trying my best, in terms of starting up my channel. You have been very inspiring. I should tell you that. Yeah, I'm really happy to be part of your team, and I have a lot of questions. Right now I'm struggling with my schedule, and I was wondering how if you ever had any scheduling problem when you initially start.
I think scheduling is always the problem. I think it's the biggest problem. Even now, it's an ongoing issue of what's the best use of my time? Like constantly asking myself, what's the best use of my time? And when I was first getting started, it was still the same thing. I remember walking to my office every day and I'd ask, what's the best use of today? What's the best use of, just constantly. And you've got a life as well that you have to balance. And I don't know if there's, other family members that you have to take care of or look after.
Absolutely.
So it's all part of it. Like, what is a balanced, ideal life for you look like? And you don't want to spend all day working, but you don't want to spend all day with the family either. And you don't want to spend all day sleeping either, right? So it's, what does that balance look like for you? And then on the work side of things, what's going to be the best use of your time to help you get the goals that you've got for yourself? So scheduling was a problem for me at the beginning. It's still, I consider myself really good at scheduling, but it's still an ongoing, almost everyday question of every morning I pull up my phone and I look at what I'm about to do today. So this morning I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I pull up my phone and look at, I got Movement Makers, I got IG Live, I look through my list of things and it's constantly asking myself, is this worth it? I'm going to do it today, but is it worth it for next week? Or do I need to make a shift?
Thank you so much. That's a big lesson. I haven't taken everything, but I've tried to work on my schedule because I'm managing a small business. I'm the only one employee and I have to do everything literally. I'm pulling in my children's schedule in so that they can help me. I can sneak out some time. I will keep on. Then this is a very good experience I get from you. I really want to know how much you have followed or assessed the comments of your viewers to develop.
How do I use comments to create content?
Yeah. At
the beginning, there were no comments. At the beginning, I had no comments.
Yeah.
I was at the beginning. In Built to Serve, I share, I forget what page it is, but I share a picture of my first video. And in a year, I only had 3 comments on it. One was my sister, one was my mom, and one was some random dude, right? So at the beginning, there were no comments. So I didn't have any feedback to use. What I would do now in 2020 compared to what I didn't have access to before was I would go look at other people's comments.
Okay.
Like who do you think is the most relevant to you? Like who's creating content that's the same kind of content that you want to create or the same kind of people that you want to reach? Who comes to mind?
Oh, yeah. your YouTubes, your videos.
Mine? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So go look at my channel. You can look at my YouTube and look at what the comments are there. If you're not getting comments on yours yet, you go look at your own you look at somebody else's comments to get ideas, to get inspiration, to say, hey, if somebody's saying, hey, Evan, make a video on this, and maybe we do it, maybe we don't, but that gives you feedback to say, here's what people are interested in. So before you have your own community, you tap into other people's community.
Other people.
Now, I spend 0 time doing that because it's hard enough just keeping on top of what my own community is saying across all the different platforms. So I spend most of my time when I'm doing community work with my own community. But again, if you have no community yet, because we're building and we're growing and we're trying to improve, then you tap into other people, just a like-minded community. So if it's mine, then go look at my comments to get ideas. But I think you can get a lot of ideas. It's that combination of what are people asking for with what do you want to make? And if you want to make it and there's no interest in it, then you've got a hobby, which is a fun hobby, but doesn't support your business. And if people are asking for it, but you don't want to make it, that's not going to be sustainable either. You're not going to win making content that you don't love. So it's in that mix of what do people love and what do they need? What are they asking for? And what do you want to make? What do you love making? And in that combination is your opportunity.
That's interesting. Okay, maybe still when we are in this issue about content, I mean, how do you delineate between the in your presentation what you have to offer and in the YouTube and what you have to take it back for your training, for your business, for instance, if you want to build a business later on? Is there any clear kind of boundaries where you could put yourself in so that you don't have to give too much, you know, in a sense, or also
you get to pick what you want to talk about, you know, like
yeah, okay.
I don't talk about my parents a lot. They've maybe been in one video. I've done, I don't know, 7 or 8,000 videos across all my channels. My parents have maybe been in one video total. And I love them. And they're on my wall, right? Like that's them here.
Yeah, I see that.
They're a big part of my story, but they're also very private people and they don't want to be in the public. So I don't share, I don't talk about them and I don't have them in my videos. So if I'm ever doing a vlog or something and we go over, I don't show them. We'll show the food or we'll show the dogs or we'll show something else because they're just private people that don't want to be involved. So you can share as little or as much as you want. You decide what the boundaries are. Do you want to involve your kids or don't involve the kids? Up to you. You know, maybe they'll love it. Maybe it's a chance to connect. Or maybe you don't want to make that public and you don't want people to know about your kids or what they're doing. Either way, it doesn't matter. You've got lots of stories that you can share, even if it's just you.
That's true. Absolutely, that's true. So what about your viewers? Have you ever had any negative feedback from your viewers and how did you handle it?
So we get negative feedback. And it's always hard, especially at the beginning when you don't know how to handle it. And especially when you're trying to do something positive, right? All of my videos are trying to do something positive. I don't have any videos saying that the 10 stupidest things from whoever, or 10 reasons why this person's an idiot or something, right? I don't like making that kind of content. So it's always aspirational, positive stuff. So what helps me is one, recognize that people are just in pain. I think people are good. I think by default we're good. I've done the who, why, how exercise with tons of people, and the who exercise is your most important core value, and it's always something good. It's always something positive. It's always something we want to do good things. So why would somebody who's good do something bad? Well, often because they're in a lot of pain. And when you've been in pain or when I've been in pain, we probably haven't showed up as our best self to the world, to the people around us. We haven't always done the things that we've been proud of when we're hurting, when we're in pain. And so recognize that somebody who's coming and their goal is to leave a negative comment on your video when you're trying to help, understand that they're just in a lot of pain, that they don't they don't like their life right now. It has nothing to do with you. They don't know you. They've never met you.
Yeah.
They're just in a lot of pain, and they're lashing out. So I have just empathy for that. I remind myself that this person is in a lot of pain, and I have empathy for that. And what that does is remove some of the pain for you, removes the sting of the words. You know, it's like, you know, you've got kids, so you expect when your kids were babies, they pooped in their diaper. Right? I mean, that's what kids do. You just expect a kid to poop in their diaper. That's what babies do. So somebody who's in pain, I would just expect them to lash out. That's what people in pain do. So it's not, you don't feel bad about you being a mom when your kid poops in their diaper. It's not your fault. It's nothing that you did. It's what they did.
No.
So it's the same thing. It has nothing to do with what you did. It's what they did. Now, inside of that, maybe there's something that you could actually learn. So if you can remove the emotional sting, like it doesn't hurt as much, then you can look at the comment more objectively and say, can I learn anything from this? Did they actually have a point? Right? So if somebody came and looked at my video and said, Evan, you know, you suck. I hate you. You've got a big nose and I hate the sound of your voice and, you know, whatever, all this stuff. And you know, your microphone is crap and they just keep going on. If you take away all the personal attacks, maybe the microphone is crap is good feedback. Like maybe my microphone is bad. Yeah. Maybe the audio was bad. Maybe our edit was poor, right? And we'll just often label them as haters or trolls or losers. But if you can learn to try to not be emotionally attached to the feedback because you recognize that they're in pain and you have empathy for them, there might be something you can learn from some of the feedback. Not all of it. There'll be some feedback that's just, there's nothing you can learn from it. It's just angry. It's an angry person. But there will be some that you can actually learn from. Because if you can only take feedback when it's nicely given, right? If you can only take feedback when it's, hey, I love what you're doing and it's amazing. And I have one little tiny suggestion, but I love what you do. Like if that's, for some people, that's the only way they can take feedback. You're never going to get the honest truth because it has to be surrounded by so much love for you to hear the message. Yeah. So I love it when people are honest, when people are blunt, when people tell me what's on their mind. You just have to be able to take out any personal. I don't think you get a lot. I mean, I don't get a lot. If you look at my comments, my community is pretty
I have seen. Yeah.
Awesome, right? But same thing. I think for your community, I don't think you'll get mostly negative people. I think you'll get mostly positive people. But when you get 100 comments and 99 are good and 1 are bad, you still have that one just still sticks out.
Yeah, you still question.
So,
it
empathy.
It cannot just, empathy. Okay, that's a big word.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So about your coaching experience, that's also something I want to learn from. What are your best, takes from the people you've met in your service, and how do they contribute to your life?
Well, you want to, we all want to feel like what we do matters and is important, right? Like you want to wake up and feel like today matters. And looking at my YouTube channel, we're going to get 400,000 views today on the YouTube channel. And I don't know what that means. Like, it's just too big a number. But coming here and talking to you makes me feel good. Makes me feel like it matters. Being in Movement Makers this morning was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it was really awesome. Yeah.
It makes me feel like the work that I do matters. And so coaching, I think, is a great way to feel connected to the work that you're doing. Sometimes just making a video by yourself in your room doesn't feel important. But when somebody's in front of you and you're helping them, it'll make you feel more important, more valuable, like it matters. So I'm a fan of it for that reason. I think it's also the fastest path to making money for a lot of people, because selling a book or selling a course is doable. Just it's a lot of little dollars at a time, and it takes a long time to actually create. Where if you can coach, you can charge for your coaching services and start to make money doing that. And that actually helps you make better products, better books, better services, because you create products around the things that you're coaching on. Whatever question you've been asked, why did I write Built to Serve, is because so many people ask me, how do I find my purpose? Well, it's not hard. You go through the who, why, how process. And I helped so many people through it that then I wrote the book on it. So I recommend coaching as much as possible, even if your long-term goal is to be a speaker or be an author or create a course. Coaching as step number one to get as close to your community as possible.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's what is in my heart, actually, to be a coach instead of being a speaker. So do you think that everyone can be a coach, or do somebody need to have certain qualities to be that?
That's an interesting question. I think we all are in some respect. Like, I think every parent is a coach. You're coaching your kids. I think every brother, every husband, every wife, every mother, every sister, like, we're all coaches. It may not be a business, right? It may not be a business that we're doing, but I think the ability to learn, coaching is really listening to people, giving them a space to share, and then help them get a result, like help them shift from where they're at to get to where they need to be. And I think that's a great skill for everybody to learn. I think some people want to do it as a profession, and I think a lot of people just need to learn it just in their own personal life, but they don't want to make that their business.
In your experience, what's the average time for a person to be a good coach? You know,
I think it's the willingness to try to be them. Like, it's the willingness to step. I call it wearing their skin.
Okay.
It's the willingness to try to be them, because the biggest mistake that most coaches make is you give advice based off of what you would do in their situation. What would you do in their shoes? That's what normally we would do. The problem is that may not be the best advice for them, because you're not them.
Yeah.
And so the trick is to try to be them and then give them the best advice for them. I'll often give people advice on things that I would never do myself. I would hate doing those things. It's anti-Evan Carmichael. I would never, it would be torture for me to do those things. But for the person I'm talking to, it's actually the best thing for them. And that's a big mistake that people fall into. So it's listening. It's having empathy for them. It's trying to think like them. And then you have extra perspective that they don't have. That's why they're coming to you for help. Like, you've got wisdom and guidance and experience and perspective that they don't have. And that's what they need. But what they don't need is for you to tell them what you would do in their shoes, because you're not them. And I think that's why so many kids and their parents fight, because the parents basically are giving them advice as to, well, I went to college and I did this and I went and became a doctor, so you should too, or whatever. They're just thinking about it from their perspective and what they did when they were 14 or 18 or 22, as opposed to what, right? Like, my son loves to draw and he loves to play Minecraft. And so when he comes over, or like last night we were playing Minecraft. And I don't like playing Minecraft. I never play Minecraft by myself. And I definitely don't draw. I suck at drawing. But with him, I'll do it. So for me to say, hey, you should go be an entrepreneur because that's what I like doing, is not great advice, right? Like, he's on the path to being an actor. He's still young, he's 11, but he's got his first movie gig, so he's on the path to being an actor. I would hate being an actor. I hate memorizing lines. It's like the worst thing ever for me. But he doesn't like entrepreneurship. And so for me to say you should go be an entrepreneur because that's what I think is good for me is not the good path, right? It's understanding, oh, you should take that acting gig. You should practice memorizing the lines because it's the best thing for him.
Yeah.